بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا افتح بيننا وبين قومنا بالحق وانت خير الفاتحين. اما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to our Sunday class or Sunday lecture, and would like to share with you some reflections on the ayat I have recited from Surah Al-Baqarah. Just for a reminder, today, Sunday, 7th of July, is the time for moon sighting for the new year, the month of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar. The first month of the Islamic calendar, 1446. If the moon is sighted today somewhere in New Zealand, then we're going to start the new year tomorrow, inshallah. Happy New Year. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring peace and happiness to all of our lives. Allahumma ameen. And of course, remembering the beginning of the year is a reminder of Al-Hijrah, the migration of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from Mecca to Medina. Subhanallah. I remember yesterday I was talking in the khutbah about this amazing, action of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, amazing effort and juhd of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companion. They left the beautiful city of Medina, the holy land of Medina and Mecca, and they moved all over the world. The Sahaba who are buried in Medina are only 10,000. While the number of the Sahaba is more than 100,000. So 90% of them left Medina and they went all over the world. Some of them are buried in India, some of them are buried in Pakistan, some of them buried right somewhere in Africa, in Europe. They traveled everywhere. And they didn't ask this question that a lot of people come and ask, why should I stay here? Why I don't go to a Muslim country to raise my children in a Muslim country? Well, subhanallah, the Sahaba of Rasulullah created the environment for their children and for their future generation, and they lived and they settled, because this is a duty, this is an obligation, subhanallah. And this is what Rasulullah did. He migrated from Mecca to Medina, right? That was understandable when Mecca was not a Muslim place. Mecca became a Muslim place. 8 years later, Mecca, all people of Mecca became Muslims. And Rasulullah had the chance to go back again to Mecca, live in his own house, stay in his home city, but he didn't do that. He completed his life in Medina and he carried on. Because khalas, Allah chose this land for him, he lived there. So for those people who have this mentality that one day I will go back home, I will do here, I will go there, they never settle and they never do an effort. Do the effort. Take part in the juhd of da'wah, the work of da'wah. Do your job as a Muslim. Wherever you are a Muslim, you are caller. You are supposed to call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are to start with your family, with your neighbors, with your community, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after you and your children. But just keep up with this work. The work of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The job of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was his job. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 21, Ya ayyuhan nas. This is the first time in the Quran Allah called out for the people. In the Quran you hear, Ya ayyuhan nas, Ya ayyuhal ladhina kafaru, Ya ayyuhal kafirun, and Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu. When Allah talked to the people, Allah talked the whole entire mankind, everyone, no exception. He says, Ya ayyuhan nas. The Arabic word Ya ayyuha is to get the attention of the people. When you call somebody, hey, can I talk to you? Or something, this hey. In the Arabic, in the Quran, it says Ya ayyuha. And it can be for one single person, and it can be for a big group of people, and it can be for the whole entire mankind. Sometimes Allah talks to the Prophet ﷺ and say, Ya ayyuha an-nabi. An-nabi is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya ayyuha an-nabi. Ya ayyuha ar-rasul. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. specific group of people. Ya ayyuhan nas, everyone, all mankind. Ya ayyuhan nas. Right? When somebody call you out, you turn back to him and say, yeah, what do you want? How can I help you? Right? So now, who is the one who calling out? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas, what I'm supposed to do? Drop everything in hand and listen. Why? Because this is something very urgent and very important. Otherwise, why Allah call my name? Or call your name? Because He is calling for everyone to give attention, listen up. You better listen up. There is a very important message that I want to send it to you. There is very important instruction, very important amal you need to do. Listen carefully, otherwise trouble ahead. Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas. What Allah wants from us. Inshallah, you can see, mashallah, good number of school students, mashallah, welcome back to the masjid. We hope to see you here all the time, inshallah. Plan something for the holiday and get, engaged with the community in the masjid and be part of the masjid, subhanallah. Allah loves those people who live in His own house, stay in His own house. This is the house of Allah. So Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas, Ya Rabb, what do you want from us? Ya ayyuhan nas, u'budu rabbakum. All mankind, u'budu rabbakum. You need to do ibadah to your Rabb. There is no translation to the word ibadah, there is no translation to the word Rabb. Usually we say Lord. In the Arabic English translation, you say it Lord, but it's not Lord. Lord can be a man, can be somebody else other than Allah. You say landlord. Okay, that's landlord. Somebody own, a small house. You call him landlord. Okay. How about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You call him Lord as well? No way. Allah is the owner of the whole entire universe, not just a house or a building. He owns everything. So the word Lord is so little to describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we call Him Rabb. Rabb is the one who raise, look after, and feed and provide for no return. When you say landlord, give you the house, you rent the house from him. But it's not for free, you pay him back, right? So you give you a service, you give him something back. But when we call Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Rabb, Allah gives us everything. What do we give Allah back? Nothing. We don't give Allah anything back. Even the ibadah that we think we are giving Allah something back, it's actually for us, not for Allah. Allah doesn't take any benefit from whatever we do. So the word Rabb only in the Quran used for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it's a general. In very specific few times, Allah used the word Rabb to describe humans. But when Allah is telling us a conversation between a believer and non-believer, but when the conversation is from Allah, the speak from Allah, then the word Rabb only goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like for example, Yusuf alayhi salam in the prison, talking to somebody. They call it inmate, somebody with him, a prisoner with him. This prisoner is not a believer. He just he worship idols, he worship his king. He said, when you get out of the prison, all right, and you go to serve the king, like you used to do before, اذكرني عند ربك. اذكرني عند ربك. Remember me to your Lord, to your king. Because I'm not supposed to be here, so I want to get out of here. Who can get me out of this prison? The king. So he used the word Rabbik because Allah is kind of telling a story about a believer, Yusuf alayhi salam talking to a kafir or non-believer. Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas u'budu rabbakum. Now we understand the word Rabb is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But does every human being believe Allah is his Rabb? We believe in Allah, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Does everyone in the earth believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The answer is no. So why Allah called Rabb and He expected the people to listen to Him, even though more than 80% of the people don't believe in Allah? This is a sad reality. More than 80% of the population of earth do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here Allah used the word Rabb and He called all humans, and 80% of those humans don't believe in Allah. They don't believe in Allah as God, as Creator. But it doesn't change the meaning of Allah being the Rabb. What I wanted to say is, okay, those people who don't believe in Allah, does Allah still feed them? Yes, still feed them. Allah keep the sun away from them so their plants doesn't grow? No. Allah still sends the sun, the rain. Maybe they have more fruits and more vegetable and more food than Muslims have. They have more wealth. Allah gives them everything they need to survive. Allah doesn't keep anything away from them because He is Rabb. He is the one who looks after, He is the one who feeds, He is the one who gives, He is the one who doesn't expect any return. So it doesn't change anything. If the people don't believe in Allah, it's okay. Still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feed them. Subhanallah. And that is why this young man here has something very interesting. We would love to listen, to hear what you want to share with us, but later on. Just listen up now. Subhanallah. Rasulullah said, لو أن الدنيا تساوي عند الله جناح بعوضة ما سقى الكافر منها شربة ماء. Right? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if this dunya, this earth, worth for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a one wing of a mosquito, He wouldn't allow the kafir to drink a sip of water. Why? Because it's something valuable, has a value. But in reality, the whole entire earth doesn't have any value for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's so small and so tiny, it doesn't even worth anything. Subhanallah. Imagine you have a car, a truck loaded with billions of dollars, like cash, this whole lot of money. And you have a coin of 10-cent coin drop off this truck. You don't even bother to look at it. It's just 10 cents out of these millions. I don't care, subhanallah. So for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this dunya doesn't worth anything. So Allah called Himself Rabb, and He gives the people whatever they need to take in this life to survive, even though 80% or more from the people of the earth do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah will keep feeding them, subhanallah. Now we understand the word Rabb. Allah says, "A'budu rabbakum." What is ibadah? I said, the word ibadah doesn't have any translation. We use the word worship, but it's a very small meaning. Ibadah is everything that Allah likes and everything that Allah approves or allows us to do it. Now, listen carefully. That is everything Allah likes, everything that Allah approves or allows us to do. This is the word ibadah. Tayyib. Now, how did I know what Allah like and what Allah doesn't like? Maybe if you ask me, I will tell you. You know, what do you like to eat? You can ask someone, what do you like to eat? What do you don't like? You're gonna tell you. Now, how can we know what Allah like and what Allah doesn't like? We need to ask somebody to tell us. And we need to have an evidence or a proof that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like. That will take us back again to the Quran and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because the only one who can tell us what Allah like and what Allah doesn't like is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the Quran, the word of Allah. Tamam? So everything that Allah likes and everything that Allah doesn't like, it is already there in the Quran. I cannot come up with something out of my own thinking and say, hey, I have a good idea. You know what? Allah like this. Allah like this. Very nice. You see? So I'm going to do it. Hold on. Are you sure that Allah like it? Well, it's a good idea. No, it doesn't work this way. You need to make sure that this is something Allah likes, subhanahu wa ta'ala. One day back in the time, Shaitan used to show up as a person, a human being, talk to the people. And that was before Rasulullah. So they used to come to the people sometime and talk to them, deceive them. So there was back in the time a abid, somebody who was fully in prayer and salah, ibadah. He doesn't do anything, he just full-time ibadah. So he tried to take him out of this and he couldn't. He inspired him to do something bad and this man doesn't want to do. So he said, he was kind of in a sawma'a. What is sawma'a? They used to build on the top of the hill, it's a small little house, so they don't interrupt, the people don't interrupt them and pray there. So the shaitan went to him and he started praying next to his room. Shaitan has physical power more than this man has. So this man has to sleep because he gets tired. This man has to eat. So he wastes some time, get wasted for sleeping, going to toilet and stuff. Shaitan was standing for long hour. You know, shaitan can stand for long hour. Just to try it kida, and hold the Quran and stand up in the prayer and try to read one juz, 5-6 pages. Okay? If you get tired, shaitan is not going to stop whispering to you. He will not get tired. He will keep whispering. Even if you stand the whole entire, he will keep whispering to you. So he stand by him, and this man look out of his window and he sees somebody next to his door praying. But he prays so well, so concentrating. And then he opened the door and he said to this man, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He said, "I just worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I pray." He didn't know that this is shaitan. He said, "Well, but your prayer is so well, so good. I don't know how you reach this level of perfection. Man, your prayer is amazing. It's beautiful." He said, "Well, if you want to have the same type of prayer, then take my advice." He said, "What's your advice?" He said, "Look at me, look at this." He got some sort of a medal or a necklace. But the necklace is a string, and right there in the necklace, there is a dead animal, a dead mouse. He said, "What this? Why you carry a dead mouse?" He said, "Look, I look at the dead mouse, and then I remember death. One day I will die, I will become just like this dead mouse, and I will go to the grave. So this will remind me of death." And I started crying, and I concentrated on my prayer. He said, "Wow, that's a good idea. I never thought of it. Allah will like my prayer so much." And he went and he catch a rat, big rat, kill it, put it into a string, and he put it around his neck, and he continued to pray. And remember this. This is something Allah liked? No. Why? Because one of the conditions for the prayer to be correct, your clothes must be clean, and you're not supposed to be connected to any najasa. This is najasa. If you pray and you have najasa on your clothes, najasa impurity, your salah is not acceptable, is not valid. So this is a thought came to his mind that Allah likes something, but he didn't consult Allah himself and say, "Ya Allah, do you like it?" He doesn't know. Doesn't know this knowledge, subhanallah. So al-ibadah is everything that Allah likes, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala approves. Allah approves us to do it. This is the word ibadah. And in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word abd. Abd is the one who practices ibadah. So everyone who does ibadah is abd, right? Everyone who drives, we call him driver, right? The one who bakes, we call him baker, correct? The one who farm, we call him farmer. Are you still alive? Yes. So the one who does ibadah, we call him abd, or we call him abid. We either call him abd or we call him abid. So what does abid mean? Abid is the one who do ibadah, who does ibadah. And abd is the one who does ibadah as well. Whenever Allah wants to talk about Rasulullah and give him a big title, when you speak to somebody by just his name, you say Ali, Ahmad, just name, that's okay. But when you give him a big title, a big name, you say Mr. Ahmad or Dr. Ahmad or Your Excellency Ambassador Ahmad, something like that, right? So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to give Rasulullah a big title, because there is something amazing that Allah has done to him, guess what? Allah used the word abd. Subhanallah. And he doesn't use the word Rasul. Even though Rasul is a big title, he's Rasulullah. Allah chose him to be Rasulullah. But instead, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word abd. When it's a great gift from Allah. Okay, listen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi. Is there anyone ever, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take him in a journey from earth to sky other than Rasulullah? No. That's only Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why Allah didn't say his name? Why Allah didn't say Rasulullah? He said Abd. Because this is the biggest ever title he can take. How about the Quran? Is there any prophet received the Quran like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No. Allah said, Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitaba wa lam yaj'al lahu iwaja. Subhanallah. Here the word abd, because there is a great thing, a big title to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the word abd is related to the word slave. Yes, that's right. The abd is the one who does ibadah and at the same time in the manner of a slave. Who is a slave? Back in the time, people used to have slaves. People to serve them at home and do everything, and they're not supposed to get paid for anything because they are owned by the master. So they don't have a decision, they don't have freedom, they can't go anywhere without permission of their master. And the master, if he tired of them, they just sell them in the market. And they used to have a collar, some sort of a necklace around their neck from iron. And there is a tag. This tag has a name, and the name of the owner. And this slave cannot cut it off. He can't get rid of it. So wherever this abd goes, there is something around his neck to let the people know this abd, this man, is the property of so and so. Those people who have home detention, they put a bracelet in their legs, in their leg, so the police can track them. If they go anywhere, they're gonna track them. So Rasulullah is named the abd in this context to let us know that the highest position to reach is to be a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the slave is to admit and to accept and to behave like abd with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How the abd, the slave, behave with his master? He doesn't object, he doesn't disobey, he doesn't disagree with his master. He listens to him and obeys him. So if you want to be abd, to reach the highest level, then do the same thing with Allah. Do the same thing with Allah. Don't negotiate with Allah. Don't dispute with Allah. Don't disagree with Allah. Somebody might say, Hasha lillah, astaghfirullah, I don't do that. Are you sure? Wallahi, I never disagree with Allah. Tayyib. When Allah call you out to come for prayer, what do? I just continue sleep. You disagree with Allah. Subhanallah, because Allah call you and you say, no, I'm not gonna come. Allah call you, give you a task, you don't do it. Okay, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not so important. You don't just, okay, I don't care. Allah says something and I say something else. Allah says this is haram, I do it. Allah says don't do that, still do it. Allah says listen, I do it. How many times we see parents complain from the children? Listen up, guys, kids, listen carefully. Never ever dare to raise your voice over the voice of your parent, your mom. Yeah, but she just drives me crazy. I sometimes just lose my temper No. Allah commands you, don't ever raise your voice above your parent voice. Do not argue with them. Do not misbehave with them. You have to respect them. Otherwise, you disagree with Allah. If Allah says something and you disagree, you're not a good abd. If you want to be a good abd to Allah, then you agree with Allah. You don't dispute with Him. You don't disobey Him. You only obey Allah at any time, and you never disagree with Him. This is abd. Ya ayyuhan nas, u'budu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum. I finish with this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, alladhi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum. Allah created you and He created everyone before you. So Allah created the past and also created the present, and He is the creator of the future. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So the ultimate goal of this ibadah, the reason why Allah wants us to worship Him, to obey Him, to behave well with Him, so that we can have the taqwa in our heart. What this taqwa means, what does it mean? Alright, what does the taqwa mean? I will tell you. When somebody is driving on a hilly road, right? On a hilly road, what is the most important thing for this driver on a hilly road, up and down, narrow road? Is to open his eyes wide and to look carefully, look at the road carefully, right? Can he sleep? No. Unless Tesla brings like an autopilot car, I don't know, but for the time being, any car, the driver has to look carefully. Otherwise, one mistake, gone. Because he's on the top of the hill, driving on the top of a hill. Any small mistake, he will fall down and he will die. Similarly, taqwa is to be very, very careful when you are behaving, when you are doing something with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to be very, very careful, very careful. Do not dare to do something that will upset Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you watch out, Ya Allah. Allah says, don't look, don't look. Don't eat this, don't eat it. Don't drink this, don't drink that. Don't say this word, don't say this. Otherwise, you are actually in trouble with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how a taqwa works. It's to be always careful, it's to be always conscious, and to be always alert that whatever I do, whatever I say, whatever I think of, must be in agreement with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows me to do. If your ibadah doesn't bring this consciousness inside of you, I can tell you for sure that your ibadah worth nothing. Worth nothing. Subhanallah. Car is designed the car has an engine and the engine spins. So the wheels run, spin, take you from this place to this place. This is the job of the car, right? But if the car, the engine runs, spins, but the car doesn't move, okay, this car is lost, failure. Why? Because it doesn't do the job. If you drink the water and to quench your thirst and you get thirsty and thirsty, then the water fails to do the job. I drink because I don't want to feel thirsty. There is something wrong, need to be fixed. So the ibadah is there to keep us always conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about Allah, remember Allah, work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do everything that we can to make Allah, or to keep Allah happy with us. If this is not happening with ibadah, then there is something wrong that has to be fixed. You come and pray and you end up, you leave the prayer and you start fighting with the people, behaving so well. Or you abuse your parents. You finish your prayer and you go and, subhanallah, do something haram immediately after. What's that? This prayer is not going to work. It doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. So the ibadah is there to bring into our life this taqwa, feeling of consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we are not ready to do anything that Allah doesn't like. I don't want to be in trouble with Allah. I don't want to be in trouble. Tell yourself all the time this way, I don't want to be in trouble with Allah. If the Fajr Salah time come, and now people are going to stay up for a long time, and they have the social media, they have the screen, and then right before Fajr they're going to sleep. And when the Fajr time, Mom, wake you up, get up, pray. Leave me alone, I want to sleep. Yes, you want to sleep, but can you handle it? Can you be in trouble with Allah? Yeah, I don't care. Here we go. This is failure. Failure in that. Taqwa means I am not ready at any circumstances to be in trouble with Allah. I don't want Allah to be upset with me. I will do everything in my hand. Everything. I will teach myself to say no to anything that Allah doesn't like it. This? No, I can't do it, man. Why? Because Allah is not happy. I can't say that, man. Allah is not happy. I can't do this. Allah is not happy with me. This is the taqwa. So this is the job of the ibadah, and this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants all mankind to do. Under this, you can list a lot of things we can do. But in the end, keep in mind that you achieve this goal. The achieve this goal is always Allah happy with me. I do things that Allah like, and I do things that Allah approves, and I don't dare to be in trouble with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as to upset. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from me and you in just one sentence. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from the best of the ibad, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use us in the service of His deen. Allahumma ameen. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اغفر ذنوبنا واستر عيوبنا وارحمنا رحمة واسعة لا نشقى بعدها أبدا يا رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وجزاكم الله خيرا.